GMGP, good morning, good people. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all decided to wake up with us. You're sick. You're sick in the head. There's a lot of fantasy football shows out there, but I promise y'all, they not like us. Brock Bowers, you looked a little quicker than fast. What does that even mean? Redraft, Dynasty, best ball, high stakes, we got you covered.
And that's MVS and Justin Watson.
With some of the dopest tools designed to help you cancel out the noise and dominate your leagues.
If there's a white wide receiver named Antoine, sign me up.
Maybe it's cultural. I don't know. In season or off season, rain, sleet, hail, and snow,
comma, semicolon, period, next sentence.
to bring you the most actionable and entertaining content on YouTube.
You don't go buy the dip on the Titanic.
Quarterback that you love, D-Bro. One of the best values in fantasy football.
Prop bets with my man JRich.
Is that yes! Let's go!
So wipe the crust out of your eye, get you a cup of coffee. It's time to wake y'all asses up with Ray
And Jay.
in the morning.
My God.
How good is
Dude.
he? How good is he? Let's get it, GMGP. It is Wednesday, November 13th, 2024. Y'all decided to wake y'all asses up with myself and my brother from another brother. Wait, my brother from another mother, JRich. This is the Wake Up with Ray and Jay show. We appreciate you tapping in. We were off on Monday, but I do want to say for all the veterans out there who served this great country, salute to you, salute to you, salute to you. Shout out and happy belated Veterans Day. We were off on Monday, but we back in the damn building today, and we got a lot to talk about because a lot has happened. A lot down here in Dallas, Miami, Alabama, college football, Anthony Richardson. JRich, we got a lot. We got a lot, damn it. We got the
There's
people in the building. Shout out to Colin, first person in here. GMGP was popping. Fizzle. I mean, it's still like 2-3 years old, Jay. But the intro song ain't changed. Fizzle dropped us some bars.
Yes,
the
sir.
intro has not changed. Shout out to Fizzle Dollars, man. Everything that he's doing with South Harmon. Jimbo was popping with you. Joe, my girl, K1 was key to everything. Crying Phase, what's up, Joe? We got James Young in the building. Alex C., Jordan Baker, Billy Chong, Daniel Perry. GMGP to you, Wesley. What's happening with you, MV Prof? Everybody in the building. Patrick, Jason, Bronson, Ant 10, Taylor, Yada, Garrison. What's happening? Ike. Was popping Cold World TDE. We appreciate you being in the building. Jay, you were off on Monday. You didn't have to do anything. Off of work. How you feeling today, man? You ready to have a good show? Got a lot of good topics planned for the people today.
Yeah, I was very excited when I saw the show sheet this morning because it felt like a Ray G special. Just some of your favorite things to talk about in the NFL, some college football. We'll get into that Alabama quarterback putting a beat down on LSU once again. The only thing that's missing really is a big conversation about the Giants, but we hit on just about everything. So I hope people were excited. I don't think I'm going to have to say much this show. It will be a lot of you, my friend.
Oh, you going to
I'm very excited to hear your... I'm sure you'll put my ass to the fire as well, because you always do.
I do see. Hold on. I'm going to remove myself from the screen because I do see you have a, what is that? Is that a Drake May jersey hanging in the back, Jay? Is that Drake May back there?
You know, you asked me who's going to win. We had
Look
Bears
at you.
and Patriots
Look at
over the
setup.
weekend. And
Got the
big
JR
Drake
back
May
there? Look at you,
got
man.
it once
Look at
again.
you.
Yeah, the JR in the back, the Drizzy Drake May. I had to hang it. I was going to wear it, but I've been wearing it a lot. So I was like, I'll just put it in the background so everyone knows who the top quarterback behind Jaden Daniels is in the 2024 rookie class. We talked about it. It came to fruition, and I was very happy about it, other than the fact that it hurts their draft stock. But we will take what we can get. Big win for the Pats.
Well, we will talk about the 2024 quarterbacks here in a second. But as we said at the start of the show, shout out to all the veterans, everybody that served this country. And, with our partnership with New Era, it's the perfect time to show support for those who served with an official cap, the Salute to Service cap from New Era. With a snow camo crown and a graphite accented team logos, the Salute to Service collection lets you proudly show your appreciation in a sleek and sophisticated way. Pay tribute to those who protect us with the official cap of the NFL from New Era Cap today. The NFL and New Era are dedicated to honoring our nation's heroes through contributions to the NFL Salute to Service charity partners. You can learn more at NFL.com/salutes. There is a link in the description of the show. Check it out. Support those who serve us. Salute to service. And these hats are pretty freaking sick. I like these a lot, Jay.
Yeah, dope.
Yeah, these are dope. All right, man. Also, we like to talk about some of the creators and other shows that y'all may have missed. So if you did not check it out, because everybody likes rankings, everybody likes tiers, the Dynasty Theory crew, they dropped their Dynasty quarterback tiers on the channel yesterday. So check out Mitch, Dan, and John as they talk through which quarterback should be tiered in what buckets. And again, we're going to talk about some of them quarterbacks today. So shout out to Dynasty Theory. Check out that content on the channel. JRich, it's your time to shine, though, baby. We got a little bit of news that we need to talk about. The people want it. Straight facts. Give it to them. Wait, don't give it to them yet. Yeah, you can give it to them. Go ahead. Straight facts.
The biggest news in the world of sports. Covered and brought to you by one man, Jordan Richards. This is Straight Facts.
Yeah, so we are starting with a team that I didn't think had a ton of money left to divvy out, but we're starting with the San Francisco 49ers, and it's Deommodore Lenoir. Got a 5-year, $92 million extension, fifth highest, Ray, in average annual value at the cornerback position. It would have cost them a lot more if they didn't get this deal done. I know they have a lot of cap room this year, but next year, we'll see, depending on what they have to pay Brock Purdy and obviously all the other signings they've made so far. So Deommodore Lenoir, congratulations to you. Massive signing. They desperately need you because their secondary has been awful outside of you all year. Can play inside and outside, so credit to him. He was a great signing for them. Now, in some not so interesting news, Ray, we have an issue in New York. Daniel Jones probably played his last game for the New York Giants per Adam Schefter. And part of the reason why is because he has a $23 million injury guarantee if he gets injured, so much like we saw with Russell Wilson last season.
The injury guarantees. Here we go.
I mean, it makes sense. If Daniel Jones gets hurt, Ray, what are the chances he gets a deal next year? Absolutely zero. But if the Giants do play him and he gets hurt, they owe him $23 million. Of course, if he doesn't get hurt, then they can cut him for much less money owed. And so we probably see Drew Lock or whoever the hell is going to play quarterback for the Giants now after the loss to the Carolina Panthers.
Danny DeVito.
It seems... Danny DeVito. We may see Tommy DeVito.
Oh, yeah, Tommy DeVito. Lord have mercy. Wake up, Ray.
I
Wake
thought you
up.
were making the joke, but you apparently...
I was dead serious. It was Danny DeVito out there playing quarterback.
We may see Tommy DeVito. I don't know who's going to play. Honestly, I don't care. It's just funny that the Carolina Panthers are the Grim Reapers of the NFL, and Ray, they do have one more game on their schedule against your Cowboys where they can once again get somebody axed. Wow. I don't think it's going to happen. But outside of that, I don't see anything happening. It's just funny. Saints, then they get the coach fired. Now Danny Dimes is on the way out. And even, I believe, Brian Daboll, Joe Schoen is not committed to him, and neither has Mara, the owner of the team. A few weeks ago, he said he's committed. Now, all of a sudden, things are changing. Danny Dimes probably not going to play again. They don't want him to get hurt and him to guarantee that money. But on the Chiefs front, because everyone loves the Kansas City Chiefs, they just won't lose. I mean, whatever, just keeps happening. Isaiah Pacheco returned to practice. They opened his window to return, which is great for fantasy football. I think it's tough to know what to expect for fantasy purposes, but he should be back. And dear friend of the show, Charles Omenihu, was also designated to return to practice this week as well. So hopefully he will be back soon for the Chiefs. He's a big part of their pass rush and can definitely make an instant impact on defense. But Ray, the college football playoff top 4 was revealed. It changed once again. I don't know if it changed or not. I don't know what it was last week, but it's very interesting to see 3 teams in the Big Ten at the top, and then Texas. Where are all the SEC teams, Ray? Where are they at? Everyone says the SEC is the best conference in the country. Well, all I see is 3 Big Ten teams, and now, to be fair, one of them was in the Pac-12 last year. But Oregon, who beat Ohio State, is at 1. Ohio State, who lost to Oregon, is at 2. Texas at 3, and Penn State at 4, who just lost to Ohio State. I think that's really interesting to see. There's obviously some losses in there, and then the bracket overall. This is going to be really fun, though. The 12 team is going to be very exciting, especially with, I believe, is it the first and second round are home games for the
I believe so. Yeah,
side?
They're on the college campuses, which makes it
going to be crazy.
Yeah, this is
crazy.
This is cool. You want to go through the first round bracket real quick?
Yeah, so the first round right now, as it stands, we have Boise State versus Ohio State. We have Notre Dame at Tennessee, if I'm reading that correctly. Penn State with a home game, hopefully a whiteout game against Ole Miss. And then Alabama is that at Indiana?
That's Indiana.
Oh my goodness.
You haven't been paying attention. You have not been paying attention. They are good. This is a good football team, Jay. I'm excited. This is what we've been waiting for years, man, for years.
Yes.
And
this could be
to see
really exciting.
Everybody wants to see Genty versus a real team. I want to see. Here we go.
Yeah.
If it
They
were to
played
start
Oregon
today,
this year. Played pretty well against
it's
Oregon.
Boise State versus Ohio State. I think Notre Dame, Tennessee would be a dope matchup. Winner going to Oregon, Miami. Still
Ole
locked
Miss,
in
Penn
there,
State is
right there.
interesting.
At that 4 spot. So it's this is going to be interesting, man. This is going to be an interesting playoff. I am excited for this
first
playoff.
round is on campuses, apparently. The rest are bowl games.
Yeah, I said first round. Yeah, what'd you say the other ones?
I
Yeah,
thought it was
round
first and second round.
Nah, first round on the campuses, yeah. But there was something else, right? I really believe that as we get through this part of the bowl season, especially if we get some teams that have not been mentioned yet inside of this bracket, it can make for just an amazing end-of-season run, Christmas time, because I do think Colorado's got a good shot to get in as well.
Oh, yeah.
They are ranked 17th in the
They have to
country
beat
right
BYU,
now.
though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to beat BYU. That's the big game for them, is in the Big 12 title. They got to beat BYU.
Yeah, Miami losing to Georgia Tech. Yeah, that's crazy, man. That was wild. Marcus said Penn State is a fraud. Penn State, they are frauds. There's no bias there. There's no bias there with Marcus Myers at all. 100% objectivity. But I do agree. I do think Penn State, they are frauds. But we do want to start out talking about there's a lot, NFL and college, but quickly, because this leads into what we're going to discuss from the NFL perspective, Jay. But let's stick in the college world. In a massive game, a massive performance this past weekend that have a lot of people excited was Jalen Milroe's beatdown of the LSU Tigers in Death Valley. Milroe was impressive, and he did a lot of his damage. Majority of it came by way of the ground. 185 rushing yards and not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 touchdowns as Alabama beat LSU 42-13. It was a Milroe game. It was his game.
For sure.
And after the game, his NFL draft stock was just buzzing. You got players like Jim Nagy tweeting about his ceiling, talking about his, I don't know where the improved accuracy came from in decision making, but that came,
exactly.
that those things were talked about. His skill set, I saw 22.5 miles per hour on one of his long runs, which would have equated to like a 4.3 40-yard dash. And all I've seen over the past couple of days is Milroe in a Browns jersey, Milroe in a Raiders jersey, Milroe in a Giants jersey, fans getting excited about what Jalen Milroe can do. But yet, look at the state of the quarterback position in the NFL right now, Jay. Look at where we are with QBs right now. So my question to you, my question to the people, great performance from Jalen Milroe, but how do you feel about him truly moving forward through the rest of this short college football season that's left, and his NFL, his profile or his prospectus at the next level if he does declare? I still sit on the side of the fence that I don't think he should come out. Just personally, I don't, but I want to hear what you think about the hype and the enthusiasm right now surrounding Jalen Milroe.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, actually, when you talk about Milroe, because when you look even to last season, he went 20 for 155 and 4 rushing touchdowns against these LSU Tigers. So it's not like we haven't seen him do this before against the Tigers, and they won 42-28 in that game. So it's just like, it's funny the way this all works, because you think that NFL evaluators and scouts and all these people wouldn't be swayed by a guy rushing for 170 yards in a game, especially at the quarterback position, when we've seen the likes of Anthony Richardson come through, Justin Fields come through, and those guys at times, especially in the case of Fields, have shown he's a better passer at times than Milroe. JRich, not so much. I think the issue for me with Milroe is it's going to depend really on just what is his stock. How do teams view him? Do they view him as an Anthony Richardson, which I think is very unfair given the fact that he started for the past 2 seasons and would have played in bigger games than JRich probably ever has at points in his career, on top of the fact that he has shown a little bit more as a passer as well, in my opinion. I think then you go to, is he potentially on that Justin Fields trajectory where we know he can run, great runner of the football, pretty decent passer, inconsistent at times, or do you think that he's basically Lamar Jackson? I wouldn't go to Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts is a different archetype of quarterback. Hold on.
Don't say
can I finish?
Mike Tomlin has me afraid to ever mention any rushing quarterback's name with Lamar Jackson. But I get what you're saying.
Then it's like, it's not so much is he Lamar Jackson, but can you take him at the back of the first, like Lamar Jackson was taken at the back of the first, and develop him to be this quarterback prospect? I am with you. I would never, ever, ever say a quarterback can be like Lamar Jackson ever again, because I think the closest player you look to is maybe like Jaden Daniels, but at the same time, he wasn't as prolific in college, and he has way more experience and was a way better passer coming out. So you look at Milroe, you say he kind of has to be on that Lamar trajectory, and that just feels like way too big of a curve to ever surmount. And I think you have to say probably Cam Newton is his best path to NFL relevancy if he was to do something like that.
All right. This one was hard for me because initially I just wanted to be like, nope, we've seen this story time and time again. And Jay, I think we need to moderate the chat while I'm doing this. But on YouTube. But I think we see Lamar Jackson now in the NFL, right? We see what he's doing right now in the NFL, and we have this idea that all these dual threat quarterbacks are Lamar coming out. I need you guys to honestly go back and look up his Louisville production. Go back and watch Lamar Jackson at Louisville. There is nobody that looks like him. No Milroe, no JRich, no anything that looks like what he did with that Louisville team. Jay, he put people on the map from that squad. So just to be like, this guy's the next Lamar, or he reminds me of Lamar Jackson. No, he doesn't. He doesn't remind me of that. He looks like a dynamic athlete. I love, if you've ever heard him interview, he seems like a really sharp young man, head on right, wants to win the right way, loves Alabama, loves the grind, can definitely tell he takes care of himself. I'm just listening to the NFL, and I don't know if you got a chance to hear Kurt Warner talk about, it was a 10-minute video he posted on X last night about his takes with Anthony Richardson and QBs not being able to be developed, and Tom Brady talking about the college game being dumbed down, therefore leading to an inexperienced player at the next level. The one thing that Milroe will have that Richardson never did are starts and experience. I still think that if running is your biggest calling card, because in that game, I think he had 100 and something passing yards. They didn't need to throw the ball because he was just destroying them with his legs. It's still, you get to the next level and you see it never quite looks the same. Outside of Lamar Jackson, it never quite looks like it looked in college. I would be very hesitant, and I would not project him to be a high NFL draft pick right now, top 10, top 5. If you're saying that a team is going to take him in the back of the first and truly develop him, not throw him on the field, let him fail, and then yank him out and screw up his confidence, but say, hey, we've got who's going to be picking late? We've got Jared Goff here. I'm just using Goff as an example. We've got Jared Goff. We're going to draft Milroe and develop him for 2-3 years down the line. But then why would you spend the first round pick on him then? Is that a good use of capital? I'm not sure. He's a dynamic player. I'm very excited to watch him progress. But just 2 weeks ago, nobody was talking about Milroe. He is 100% going back. No, thank you. He's outside everybody's top 5. And after 200 rushing yards, people are like, oh yeah, he's a first round pick, right? Locked and loaded, Lamar Jackson 2.0.
Yeah, I think it's funny that you did bring up the fact that, I was watching some of the highlights this morning, and there was maybe one pass in the whole package of 9 minutes of highlights, right? So
it's him running the ball,
he didn't have to do a lot through and I think to your point about the back of the first, you're probably looking to a situation where maybe a team trades into the back of the first, right, to draft him. They don't go, they don't want him with that high-end draft pick. And I believe that's what Baltimore did as well, because they had Flacco and they were in the 20s.
They did.
And they traded back or traded into the first to go and get him. You look at teams like Cleveland. Could they use a Milroe as a developmental quarterback? Tennessee, Milroe as a developmental quarterback. The Giants,
we keep saying developmental,
Jay,
but they're not developing them, though. You know what I'm saying? We keep saying, he's a developmental
Situation definitely matters, right? Situation definitely matters.
100%
Could the Jets maybe be a team that drafted Milroe, have Rodgers for another year?
Sure, but with no head coach, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because Could
Sure.
Carolina be a team that maybe goes after a Milroe, right? They already have Bryce Young. They not really sold on him. Maybe they give him another chance and then Milroe comes in after. But I think to your point, the problem with the league right now is even if you're a bottom 10 team, like Miami, probably not, but Carolina, the Jets, New Orleans, New England, probably not. Vegas, Cleveland, Tennessee, the Giants, Jacksonville. Jacksonville's the only team that's probably not taking quarterback. And then obviously probably, what's the other team I said? Miami as well.
Miami.
But outside of that, all these guys are going to play their rookie quarterbacks. Like, they're just not going to sit. You might see a Drake May situation where he sits for a few games, but you're not going to see a guy sit for a long time. And we talk about this a lot on this show, and I think this is where people kind of forget, like, you need to be a good passer to be an NFL quarterback. Like, you need to be a good passer.
Yeah.
And this is when you have the conversation of JRich or Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert or this guy. It's like, well, you know that Herbert and Burrow and all these guys are going to be quarterbacks for a long time because they're very good throwers of the football, and you need that to have success at the NFL level. And that's the biggest question mark with a player like Jalen Milroe is, can he be an NFL quarterback and win from the pocket? Because even when you talk about the likes of Lamar Jackson, it did take him some time to really get comfortable, and maybe it was the offense because the way that Greg Roman ran it. But it's funny, you see the way Greg Roman's running the offense with Justin Herbert, and he's implementing some of those Lamar Jackson plays along with the passing plays as well because he knows he can win from the pocket. So it's interesting to see how people view Milroe. It was a massive win on the road. My opinion, based on what we saw, shouldn't change his stock. We know what he does well, and he did it very, very well this past weekend, but I don't think it moves much for me. If he was a back-end first, though, Ray, or even a mid-first, I wouldn't be surprised because you look at this class right now, and after Cam Ward lost, is he still a first-rounder? Is he still a top 10 pick? Okay.
Well, I'm gonna end with this. I went back and I'm just looking at JRich's. I'm just looking at box score numbers, just raw counting stats. If I told you you were going to take a quarterback, number 4 overall, and he had a career completion percentage of 54%. That just does not sound good, right? It just does not sound good, right? 17 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 7.8 per attempt. That was Anthony Richardson's final season at Florida. Jalen Milroe, to his credit, Jordan Richards, every season of his career at Alabama, and we'll start with his second year. First year, he only threw a couple of passes. 58% completion percentage, 65.8% completion percentage last season, and he's at 67% completion percentage now. Not a lot of yards,
right?
Not pushing the ball downfield a ton, 13 touchdowns, 6 interceptions.
5th in QBR, though.
I hope that the situation that's going on in Indianapolis doesn't pull away from Milroe, but it's hard to think that NFL teams are not going to think about that with quarterbacks who are not proficient throwers of the football, which leads us into this conversation about Anthony Richardson. And it's not even so much what we think anymore. There are a lot of people asking a lot of the same questions that we have around JRich. What's going on? Why? And one of the bigger things is sort of around the vagueness of why he's benched. A lot of people are speculating it's because he took a play off or it's the play. Well, shout out to James Boyd at Romeoville Kid on X. James Boyd at Romeoville Kid on X. He asked Shane Steichen some very difficult questions, Jay, and I was very, very, very intrigued by the response of Shane Steichen. So let's just pull that up and listen to Shane Steichen's reasonings or reason why Anthony Richardson's benched and what he needs to work on, and let's talk about this.
Shane, and again, this is just to, I guess, clear the air or get some understanding. When we talk to you, we talk to AR, we talk to Cam Turner, like no one will say specifically what Anthony needs to work on. Can you just explain like what he did or didn't do or must do, not do to improve? Because everything that we always hear is, everything, or he has to, like, can anybody be specific about this?
Yeah, I think it's just consistent with the process. That's what it is. Just you got to go through the process every single day, and that's where it's at. You know what I mean? He's a great person, phenomenal human being. Like I said, not ever losing faith or trust in him. We're going through a process right now, and that's where it's at.
Can you explain the process? Like, has he been late? Has he not prepared the right way? Like, we hear those words, and You can take it, and I'm just trying to understand, not to put any words in your mouth or spin anything. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, well, like I said, we're going through a process, James. That's it.
Jay, they're going through a process. Shout out to James for asking the questions because it has been very vague, and Shane Steichen did not answer the question. He just said it's a process. We're going through it. Joe Flacco's already been named the next quarterback. Now, more and more people are talking about this situation. And what Kurt Warner said, and I want to bring this up because this is a counter or a pro benching. This is Kurt Warner's, most people are like play. Kurt Warner says, no, you cannot play. This is a Hall of Fame quarterback. He said he does not have the foundational tools to go out there and be successful, so you don't play those kind of guys until they're ready. My pushback to Kurt Warner would have been, then why the hell did they play him in the first place? If you listen to Kurt Warner's analysis, he says it is evident when you watch him, he does not have the basic understandings of what to do on the field. So to put him out there and expect a different result, we are all mad. So again, my question is, what the hell was Indianapolis looking at all summer, all off season to put him out there, to yank him off the field? And then when asked directly about it, it's very ambiguous. And I have been saying it for 2 weeks now, and more people are starting to get on the train. We aren't afraid to say some shit early on this show, and it seems like everybody likes to pick up after the fact. But there are a lot more people thinking that his time in Indy is done, that there is no putting this back into the bottle and we'll come together in the offseason and be kumbaya. And, I saw one of the chat comments, and I agree with it. It's like, we said, I think you got to take your shots on the JRich prototypes in the draft with the hopes you hit. Is that just where we're at? Do you just draft those guys in fantasy and NFL and you just cross your fingers and pray that they become good? Because this situation, it just seems very, very bad in Indianapolis, in my opinion, man.
Yeah, there's so many ways you can go with a story like this, because people are in the chat talking about Jim Irsay, right? And him being a cog in all this as well, saying you got to play JRich. We drafted him 4th overall. We got to see if he's any good. Well, now he's seen that he's no good and he wants no part of it, right? Because he understands they're going to lose football games because of it. Is it Ballard and what Ballard is seeing on the field? And is Kurt Warner wrong to say that he lacks fundamentals? Probably. We talk about his inexperience all the time. We talk about how there's so many bonehead plays he makes. And Ray, if you recall in the offseason, joint practices with the Cincinnati Bengals, remind you, this is one of the worst defenses in the NFL. They said this guy can't read defenses. He just throws to a spot regardless of if someone's there or not. And that was a quote that came out from the secondary. I believe it was probably Cam Taylor-Britt because he likes to run his mouth in that backfield, right? So you just think about things like this that are said, and you kind of brush them off in the offseason. But when you see things like this come out and things like this happen, it makes you think, like these things were said. And yes, they're very critical and maybe too harsh. But when you look at it now, you're like, man, maybe they were right. And they actually did see this in the tape and on the field and all of these things, to where he's just simply not capable at the quarterback position right now. And you see Chris Sims on his show talking about how he believes there's more internally that's going on. But this is a story that when it actually breaks,
it hasn't broken
big.
Yet.
Yeah, once we get that
Jay.
report from Schefter, it's going to be something big. It's either going to be because I think the other side of this that I think isn't talked about, and the reason why Shane Steichen is so vague, he may have sold the Colts on JRich. He may have said, look at what I did with Jalen Hurts, draft this guy, and I'm going to turn him into Jalen Hurts. We don't ever discuss that Shane Steichen wasn't the coach when they were initially talking about drafting a quarterback, right? He was coming from Philly, coming off, I believe, the Super Bowl run with Jalen Hurts, and he was hired and may have sold them on the dream of Anthony Richardson to say, I can take this quarterback and turn him into Jalen Hurts, into Josh Allen. And that's why Steichen is now coaching for his job, because he knows that he can't take Anthony Richardson and turn him into Jalen Hurts. And that's where we talked about it, I believe, like 3 or 4 weeks ago, when you compare Jaden Daniels and Justin Herbert and Jalen Hurts, and and I believe Steichen, the 2 quarterbacks he worked with are Hurts and Herbert, very experienced, very intellectually sound, fundamental quarterbacks who played at a very high level in college for multiple seasons. You can't say that about JRich. And so maybe he's just not at a point where even Steichen knows what to do with him because he's so inexperienced, lacks the fundamentals to such a degree that even he doesn't know what to do with this quarterback now. And playing him is just going to make things look even worse. And he doesn't know how to fix the situation that he's found himself in. And I think that's where you look at Steichen and look at his comments and say, he maybe just has no idea what to do and is just lost because he doesn't know how to fix him.
A lot of people say
I can see
Irsay
Irsay for sure. I can see Irsay and Ballard for sure. Because Irsay always seems to be meddling in these situations quietly. And we know that he isn't always overbearing, but he can be as an owner. And we have seen it in the past. So I wouldn't be shocked if it was Irsay either. But I think that there is an element to where Steichen maybe potentially sold them on this dream and he wasn't able to deliver on his end. And now he's coaching for his job.
Milroe, let's just say he's the QB3 off of the board and he's a first-round pick later in the draft. He's back in the first. Shedeur and Ward go top 10. Milroe lands in a spot where he's going to be the backup for a little bit, right? They've got a veteran leader in front of him. Where does he go? Rookie drafts, like where do you take a shot on someone that you know objectively is not the caliber of sustainable passer of the other guys in this class, but you know that they do have a superpower, which is God-given athleticism and game-breaking speed. Where do you prioritize that player? Like today, with everything we know about value and the shifts and the change, just quick thought. This class, you know who's in it. You got Genty and Ted. Like, where's he at? He's a top 10 pick?
I'd say he has to be. Even if he's not a good quarterback, it'll just depend, I think, on how the running backs are drafted, right? Because that's the only situation where I'd say, do I want a developmental quarterback or do I want a day 2 running back who could be a Quinshon Judkins, a Travion Henderson, a Nicholas Singleton, an Omarion Hampton, like all these guys who have a lot of talent and we'll just see what the NFL thinks about them and maybe they land in a really good situation. But I think, when you look at the NFL right now, there just hasn't been a lot of opportunity for backs and hopefully this year changes that. But I feel like back at the first is appropriate depending on where the RBs are drafted. But Ray, do you think we could see a situation where maybe it's not like a super sexy spot, but it's Vegas or something like that where, he's not going to start right away, but he's probably going to start pretty quickly to where you bump him up to 7 or 8 because you think he's kind of on that Drake May track and he starts kind of 5 or 6 weeks into the season. And, at that point, he's probably rushing for 70 yards a game. So you're fine with whatever you get as a passer.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. He's got a big opportunity throughout this college football playoff run. We'll see. I would be a liar if I said I was not skeptical. I was not nervous about that archetype. But I think Wiz said it in the chat. You got to draft those guys and you draft them off of what they can become and hope they materialize and figure it out. But let's move on to another quarterback who was drafted very high. And he, too, is not playing well right now. And there was some news out of Chicago about their offensive coordinator being fired. So let's talk about Caleb Williams' struggles this season, JRich, with the Chicago Bears and the firing of offensive coordinator Shane Waldron that we did not discuss at the beginning of the show. Talk about the firing first, and then we'll get into Caleb.
Yeah, this feels like it's a long time coming. You could go back to even the Jackson Smith and Jigba interview that he did with Chicago Bears media, and they asked him, so what do you feel about Shane Waldron? And he was like, he's a great guy. He's a great coach. And actually what he said in that piece is Justin will love him because at the time Justin Fields was still their starting quarterback. And so you look at that and I think the sad part is a lot of people saw this coming. It was very predictable. We talked about it all offseason. We love all the pieces on this team. We're not sure how to feel about Caleb overall, but the offensive philosophy was very difficult to project. You saw Seattle last season, how much they struggled and how much better they are this season as an offense because of it. The problem for me, though, Ray, is I don't know if this fixes what's going wrong with Caleb Williams. You could look to the tape and say, well, there's still some sacks he takes that he probably shouldn't, and there's still some sacks that he can't do anything about because the offensive line is so bad. So it's a bit of a mixed bag when you talk about, are the sacks his fault or is it the offensive line? It's definitely a bit of both at times, and I don't think Shane Waldron can fix that. I don't think another OC can fix that either. But hopefully this will provide a spark to the offense. I think the more concerning part with Caleb Williams is I don't want to say it, but it doesn't seem like his teammates like him very much. It doesn't seem like they're very enthused
you're getting that
at
vibe?
times. I mean, it doesn't seem like it, right? Every time he throws a pass and he misses, the receivers are like, oh man, here we go again. This guy's all over the place. Or they're running a route and 2 seconds later, the dude's sacked. So it's difficult on a lot of fronts, but it's sad when you have a player like DJ Moore really thriving, playing well with Justin Fields, this quarterback that Chicago didn't want.
Crazy,
that the Bears
man.
didn't want. And now with Caleb Williams, supposed to be this savior guy, and I don't want to poo-poo on him too much because rookie quarterbacks do struggle. These things happen. But it's definitely worse than I expected. And this is a team that hasn't played a divisional game. So they're going to get stomped by Detroit, stomped by Minnesota, probably stomped by the Packers as well. And I don't think they've hit a new low quite yet for this Bears offense.
Caleb Williams has not played good ball. Yeah, he has not played good ball at all. We were excited about how he was playing leading into the bye. And since the bye week, I believe they've gone 23 straight possessions without a touchdown.
No touchdowns. Yep.
23 possessions without a touchdown. Caleb Williams is not playing good. You're talking about Anthony Richardson's completion percentage. I mean, Caleb Williams right there, sub 60% completion percentage for the number 1 pick. And had not been for Anthony Richardson or Bryce Young this year, this might be the most talked about rookie quarterback in a negative way. 1,700 passing yards, 23rd in the NFL, 9 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 38.4 QBR, JRich, 38.4 QBR. And again, right at 60% completion percentage for Caleb Williams. How do you feel about him? And prior to the firing, there were talks and rumors and smoke and fire about them potentially benching Caleb Williams, benching the number 1 overall pick. And while a lot of people don't think Shane Waldron is good, I don't watch Emmanuel Acho's show, but I did see a clip of him yesterday reading tweets from an NFL Pro Bowler from the Bears and from the Seahawks, who they texted with one another right after the hiring and just said, I could have told you a long time ago this was going to be some shit. Nobody liked him in the locker room. Like, he's reading, he didn't say the name, but he's reading the text thread of the player talking about Waldron and what was going to happen. And it was just damning. So that can't help him. But I'm watching, and I think some of the pre-draft analysis with Caleb Williams has come to fruition. Playing within structure, running around and doing stuff that he was able to get away with at Oklahoma and USC. He's kind of doing the same stuff, and it's not working in the NFL. So they definitely need a switch. But when you look at these rookie quarterbacks this season, Bo Nix, Drake May, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, is he the worst of the first rounders so far? And JJ McCarthy, you can't. I think people right now feel good about their McCarthy shares, even though he hadn't taken a snap in the regular season. So right now, just right now with where they're playing, he's playing the poorest of the rookie quarterbacks, right? It's not a hot take. That should be pretty standard, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even if you look at just simple QBR, right? Jaden Daniels is at 4 in the NFL. Drake May is at 16 right now. You have Bo Nix at 20, and then you have Caleb Williams all the way down at 29, only ahead of Gardner Minshew, Will Levis, and Deshaun Watson. So, I mean, this is behind Daniel Jones, behind Jacoby Brissett, behind Dak Prescott, right? Behind Justin Fields by a mile in QBR. So this is where it's difficult, because I think when you even just watch the game this week, and I would encourage everyone, whether you like Caleb Williams or not, to watch the game, because there's definitely a semblance, and I don't like Alex Van Pelt at all. I think he's an awful OC.
Yeah.
But he did a lot of things to help Drake May get the ball down the field. And it's weird things like Caleb should be rolling out to the right because there's a lot of open space there. But he doesn't. He just stands in the pocket, or he tries to work around the defender, staying in the pocket to prove, oh, I'm a pocket passer, blah, blah, whatever. And Drake May is like, there's open space to the right? Okay, I'll roll right and I'll throw the ball or throw it away. And so that's where it's like Caleb is hanging in the pocket, trying to make a play, taking sacks, but he just needs to be smarter and play within his means a bit more. You don't have to always try to make a big play. You don't have to take a negative play so often, and just stay ahead of the sticks. And that's where you look to a quarterback like Bo Nix and why he's a better at times NFL quarterback than he is college quarterback, because you don't have to put up 40 points a game in the NFL to win. You need to stay on schedule, stay ahead of the sticks, and not make stupid mistakes. And that's where a player like Bo Nix, who if he's coached correctly, and it seems like what they're doing in Denver is good for him, he just needs to not throw picks. As long as he's not throwing picks, he can run the ball for a couple yards. He can throw it short, dink and dunk his way to points in the NFL. And that's why they were competitive against the Kansas City Chiefs. If the Chiefs played the Bears right now, they'd probably win 45-3, because there's no way Caleb Williams is going to play the way Bo Nix played to find success against the Chiefs. And so I think that's where you look at Caleb and you say he can do it, but coaching needs to reel him in and get him to get rid of the ball much sooner than he is right now.
Bo Nix on the season has taken 17 sacks. Jaden Daniels on the season, 20 sacks. Caleb Williams, 38 sacks on the season right now. And I don't know if you saw this graphic, but I'm just going to put this up here. Tell me what you think, JRich. Read this off for the people who are not watching. What do we got?
So in their first 9 career starts.
Who's there? Yeah, go ahead.
First 9 career NFL starts, this mystery quarterback had 1,683 yards. Caleb Williams, 1,785. 9 passing touchdowns apiece, 62.1% completion percentage to 60.5 for Caleb. 74.7 passer rating to 81 for Caleb. 36 sacks to 38. That mystery quarterback is none other than the one who did get benched, Mr. Bryce Young. You do not want to be on the Bryce Young trajectory in the NFL as it stands right now, because I think we would all admit, while he's playing much better, he's probably still not the quarterback for the future in Carolina. And I think if you're a Bears fan, it's very, very unsettling to see a graphic like this.
It's interesting because I truly think we keep saying that they're not quarterbacks of the future, Jay. If anybody out there, if I've got any other college football enthusiasts, I don't know how it gets better. I don't know. Because, you know, the guys that are playing quarterback in the NFL, they're fed through college, right? They're fed and ushered through college. That's how it works. I'm looking at the college crop of quarterbacks, not just in 25, 26, 20. I don't know. You are going, I think this new era of football in the way, I mean, when you get Hall of Famers, Tom Brady, Kurt Warner, and they're saying that it's changing in college and it's impacting what the product is in the league, I don't know if we're going back to this golden era where we had Manning and Brady and Breeze and Rivers and Rodgers and all of these. You look around, every team. I mean, there was a point in time where Rich Gannon was the starting quarterback for the Raiders, and he's awesome. And he's like the 15th best quarterback in the NFL because it's just, it's legit just assassins from top to bottom. If Brad Johnson, for those of y'all, you probably don't even know who the hell I'm talking about. If Brad Johnson were in today's NFL, he'd be a top 6 quarterback, JRich. He'd be a top 6 quarterback. Put Brad Johnson in today's NFL and let him throw the ball. He'd be awesome in today's game. So all I'm going to say is this is going to be a conversation that we will continue to have as the years progress, because the game is changing, man. The game is changing. Y'all need to run the lights up, though. Give a damn that we got 13 minutes left. We're going on break. Run the lights up, and we got to talk about JRich's Dallas Cowboys after the break. Let's go. What's poppin'? Welcome back in. This is Wake Up with Ray and Jay. We appreciate you being in the building. Hit that thumbs up button, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And the chat is going crazy with old quarterbacks. Trent Dilfer. Yes, I'm not dumping on Rich Gannon at all. Rich Gannon was awesome, right? B-Rad. People know who Brad Johnson is. And somebody said Matt Schaub. I was on Bleach Report with Matt Schaub the other day. Good dude. Gave some nice insight. Jay, it's the comments heard round the sports world. It's just drama. Drama every damn day. We didn't get a chance to talk about it, so let's play it and react and discuss.
Just as I'm coming back.
Mike's on the final year of his contract, so outside there's, of course, going to be questions. What's the sentiment inside the locker room, and what do you tell people who are wondering about whether McCarthy will be your coach next year?
You know, that's above my pay grade about if Mike is coaching again next year. But, you know, all coaching aside, Mike can leave and go wherever he wants. But the guys I kind of feel bad for is guys like Zach Martin and guys who might be on their last year or on their way out, because that's who I wanted to hold the trophy for. You want to win games and do great things with those type of legends who put in more time and work than Mike McCarthy ever did. So those are the kind of guys that I have so much sympathy and hurt for.
You guys were 2-2.
Mr. Richards, Micah Parsons, you heard what he said, and this was following a beatdown of the Dallas Cowboys by the Philadelphia Eagles. Beaten down. It wasn't a contest. They had Kenny Pickett in the damn game, JRich. That's how bad it was. Kenny Pickett had to play. So with all of this, the Cowboys, as I said all summer, are awful, that they would not hit 10.5 freaking wins that Vegas had set for them, and they're probably going to be picking top 10. Did I not say it? Here we are.
You said it.
Here we are. I tried to find the clip because I said this stuff too. There's a lot of narrative out there now because Mike McCarthy's gone. I mean, he is a dead man walking, lame duck coach. He's gone. Season is shit. Dak Prescott's hamstring is falling off the back of his leg like a perfectly smoked turkey leg at the Texas State Fair. It's over this season for Dallas. They're terrible. They didn't improve the defense. You bring Zeke in. What are they doing? Jerry needs to move around, but he's not going to do that. So, what's the next best thing that could happen for the Dallas Cowboys, Jay? There is a lot of enthusiasm and hype about Coach Prime's potential return to Dallas as the new culture setter for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm here for it. I am.
Oh my God!
I am all in. I am here for it. He is a good culture guy. This is a man who took a bottom 5 collegiate program to right now potentially being in the college football playoffs in 1.5 seasons in an era where recruiting is a mess. This is not set up for the Colorado Buffaloes to be sitting at 7-2. He clearly knows what he's doing. Players want to play for him. Like, as the head coach, man, your job is to hire good OC, good DC, and you need to manage. You need to be able to manage, take pressure off of your team, off of your players, be the shining star to allow them to do their thing. And I think in Dallas, he would do that. I truly believe that Prime in Dallas could do that. Now, Deion has come out to say, I'm happy where I'm at. He's showing videos of Boulder. I'm happy where I'm at. I got it good here. I love Boulder. I don't believe you, Deion. I mean, Deion told us he wanted to change HBCU culture. I'm not going, no. If I ain't swag, who's swag, baby? If I ain't swag, who's swag? And he took his talents right to Colorado this season after that.
You got to check.
From everything that I'm hearing and reading, and you got a lot of people saying this could work, it should happen, Paul Feinbaum, you got all these big name media people talking about this happening. I mean, Jay, it's all over social media. Stephen A. Smith, Maggie and Piloff. I don't know who any of these people are, but it's Deion, it's Rex Ryan, it's Prime, it's Michael Irving. Everybody talking about this. I am here for it. So there's a lot to unpack. Micah's quotes, the Cowboys season, Deion Sanders is the future head coach of the Cowboys. What is your take on all of this, man?
Yeah, so it's a lot of stuff, right? Micah's comments I thought were more than fair. Obviously, the problem is like he said that Mike can go coach somewhere elsewhere, and then he's talking about how the other players on the team have worked harder than Mike ever has, and all that stuff, and that is what it is. He got taken out of context a little bit, and it's no big deal there. But when you talk about Deion playing and coaching for the Cowboys, it will obviously work as the CEO, front face of the team. And I think it can work offensively as well. He obviously knew his son was one of the best quarterbacks in college, regardless of competition, conference, etc. The problem is that, yes, it will work, but when you start going beyond the culture and start getting into how do they actually build a team around the players they have and under contract and all that stuff, the moment you mention Deion going there, I'm saying, okay, Dak, see you later. Trade him away, whatever you can get, and draft his son. Do whatever it takes to make that happen, because they have to do something to not just encourage players to play there, because you can't make it work with Dak and CD, and then there you have Micah, who's wilding right now because he wants his deal. And we talked all off season, and I was very much in the camp they shouldn't have signed Dak, and I understand why they did and all that stuff. But now you're in a situation where, yes, Deion can reset the culture, but he can't reset all of the other mistakes they've made. And as much as, yes, players want to play for Deion, it's not like the transfer portal where he can bring in a ton of guys. He has to have the money to pay these guys. And this is professional football. So while, yeah, guys may want to play for Deion, if they're going to be making the league minimum to do so, and they can get $10 million somewhere else, that's when things get very, very difficult for me with the Cowboys. It would be a great fit if they were a little bit better structured financially to where they could make it happen. I think you could bring an OC and a DC and all of that could work. But I think once you start crunching the numbers, it's going to be very difficult for them to build a team quickly. And I don't think Deion will want to go into a situation where he knows he has to take on a rebuild. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he does want to take
I don't
that
know.
on and does want to rebuild it up.
I don't think
from the ground
Dallas
up.
is as full rebuild as you're alluding to. The lack of moves that the Cowboys made this offseason, I've been saying it from the jump, it felt like it was set up to get McCarthy up out the paint. Like they just didn't do anything. Yeah. They rolled the same team back. So you still have a core of CeeDee Lamb. They do have a very talented group of rookie offensive linemen that they drafted in Tyler Guyton and Cooper Beebe. Guyton hasn't played as well, but you've got Tyler Smith up front. You do have Micah Parsons on the back end, Trayvon Diggs locked up. There are some DeMarvion Overshown. There are some pieces in play. So this is not a full gut and rebuild like some of these teams have to do. And I think that I really just believe, man, this is just a different time of football. And we're getting all excited about Bobby Slowick. Like, I don't want him coming in. Pass on Kellen Moore. I don't want Bobby Slowick. I don't want Kellen Moore. Leave those old Fossos, the Del Rios. If it ain't Bill Belichick, I think Deion Sanders should be strongly
considered. The Cowboys need a CEO. They need a CEO. They don't need a coach. They need a CEO, right? That can really insulate the team from all the noise, and Deion can do that.
And if you know anything about the Cowboys' history, man, like I believe that the relationship that Deion and Jerry have with one another, they could have some conversations that Mike McCarthy and Jerry Jones probably could not have, because Jerry's the biggest ticket in town. If Deion comes, Jerry ain't the biggest ticket in town. It's Deion Sanders and the moves that they
and
would
Jerry
make.
knows that too, which is important.
And Jerry knows it as well. Jerry knows it as well. It would be interesting to see if they did move Dak, and I believe there would be 30-plus teams ready to take on Dak Prescott because he is a good quarterback. Just sometimes you need a fresh start. You need a situational change. He's locked up. He's under contract, and he's young in quarterback years, Jay. So there it is. We will continue to talk about my favorite college football team and hopefully the next coach of my Dallas Cowboys, Deion Sanders, on this show. Now, we weren't here on Monday, so we didn't get to go through all the games. So I want to do some quick rapid fire. Give us a little music, Jay. Give us a little music. Turn it down because it's not the end yet. Just turn it down. Give me a little tunes. Give me some tunes. Some rapid fire. And I did not show you this on purpose because I want your raw reactions. This is how we feeling. All right, JRich? How we feeling right now? Dynasty fantasy football about this quarterback. This quarterback lost the game, even though their defense caused not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 interceptions. JRich, look at the screen. How we feeling about CJ Stroud in Dynasty right now? Talk to me, Jordan. How we feeling, baby?
I'm not feeling good, man. This is a guy that we pegged to be the next Joe Burrow, and he's looking like I don't even know how bad. It gets worse and worse every week. But we've talked about it incessantly, how he's not been good, how the team's not good, how Bobby Slowick doesn't deserve a head coaching job, and I don't know how it gets better. They have a phenomenal running game with Joe Mixon, and they simply can't pass the football. Hopefully Nico Collins can fix that, but it's truly shocking how bad they are without him. And thank God they locked him up because they desperately need him.
All right, Jay, we've got another one. And we talked about this game on Friday. You said, is there a chance the Cardinals beat the Jets? And we were like, yeah, I think there's a chance, but no, they don't get it done. I just want to know, because you dogged this player out big time, Jay. You dogged this player out big time. Call of Duty Kyler, can't throw downfield Kyler. How we feeling about Kyler Murray right now, JRich, in Dynasty Fantasy Football? And if you did not know, Kyler Murray was damn near perfect on Sunday versus those vaunted Jets. Kyler Murray, 2 incomplete passes in the game for Kyler? Running the ball, touchdowns on the ground, through the air, 31-6. How we feeling about Kyler, Jay?
Oh, man, I was wrong. I'm sorry, Joe. I was wrong. Kyler was balling out on the Jets defense. It was disgusting what he was able to do. As many rushing touchdowns as incompletions in the game. He was great. He is great. And I've always been a big fan of Kyler, but I didn't think he was trending in the right direction, but he turned it around in dramatic fashion. He's been great this year. He has been great. He's been great.
And Marv scored a touchdown. Is he no longer
score,
Mazda Marv? Is he back to? He ain't a Maserati yet.
We can maybe get him. Is there like an intermediate that we just? He's not Maserati Marv.
No, he's not a Maserati, but he's better than a Mazda though. He's better than a Mazda.
Maybe.
Yeah. Hummer Harrison. We'll see what he is. We'll figure.
Hummer Harrison. Now we're talking.
I don't know if that one is. All right, Jay. You love this team. Team.
Okay.
But damn, and they keep doing it, Jay. How are you feeling about them Kansas City Chiefs? 9-0 right now. I don't know what deal they made with Donald Trump, Biden, the government. This was government. This is government conspiracy. It's somebody in the government that calls down to say Kansas City's got to win. There are no football gods involved. It's not Mahomes. The government is involved in this, Jay. How the hell did the Chiefs win this game? They blocked the kick from like the 5-yard. Come on, man. They keep winning. Who's doing this shit, Jay?
So I was in your camp, right? I was very much in the camp that there's no way they deserve to win this game.
The CIA is involved, man. There's no way.
But Ray, when you watch the tape, and a lot of people broke down that field goal block, that dude who is standing in that spot stinks, man. He's awful. And he's been lit on fire for like the past 3 or 4 days over this. And you look back, the Miami game, the New Orleans game, this dude just gets lit up every single play. And so you have to say, man, maybe it's coaching just a little bit. And when you talk about Kansas City, just a little bit. It was a phenomenal play.
There's a bigger
phenomenal play.
There's a bigger story to this 9-0 start, because they just win, baby, win at all costs. I don't know how they keep doing it.
They should have lost.
How we feeling? How we feeling? Your boy cooked them. Cooked them. Cooked them.
The disrespect. The disrespect. How do we do a whole show and didn't talk about Marquez Valdes-Scantling going for 2 tubs?
That's why I brought him up. How do you feel? He got MVS not on the map, but off the map. He went nuclear.
I'll be honest, man. Like, this is very interesting. And it's not to say that MVS is relevant, but Derek Carr likes to throw the ball deep. And if MVS is going to be the guy that he throws the ball to, I mean, it's worth having a couple shares if he's available. I believe that there's
MVS?
a potential opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Dude, they got 2 touchdowns against the Falcons. The Falcons looked maybe not unbeatable. They looked very good coming into this game, and they lost.
Did look good.
And then they lost in dramatic fashion. Terrible loss by the Falcons.
Jay,
but MVS is good.
We were right about the offense not being this high-flying, fantasy-friendly offense here in 2024. How are we feeling right now about Jim Harbaugh, Justin Herbert, and the Chargers, who are 6-3? I know they beat the Titans, but this is a good team, Jay. And I'm going to continue to talk about it every week. Buy Justin Herbert if you can get him. How you feeling about the Chargers and what they're putting together as looks like they're going to be a damn playoff team this year in year 1 under Jim Harbaugh?
I love it, man. It's one of the reasons why I wanted the Pats to draft Drake May was because I believed if everything went right, they could run and use him similar to how the Chargers are currently using Herbert. We've seen Herbert air it out in years past, and it didn't really work out for them. But this offense, this more pro style, run-centric, play action, get the ball downfield when needed offense is exactly what is working for Herbert and similar to what he ran in college as well. So I think you look at what they're doing right now, implementing some of those plays that they ran with Lamar, with Herbert. Like, yeah, Herbert doesn't run a 4-4, but he's big as hell and can run it in the red zone. So I think, honestly, when you look at this team, they're a very good team. It's difficult to see that high ceiling and that deep playoff run, but maybe with some time and some years, Harbaugh can turn around and really get them to a high-level talent that can compete even in the AFC West.
All right, Jay, we got a few more. How we feeling right now? Yeah, run the music back. Shit, run it back. A few more, Jay. How you feeling today about old Sammy ball game? Sam Darnold, 12-7 win, 3 interceptions, fumbling the ball all over the place against Mac Jones and the Jags. Barely beat the Jags. How we feeling about Sam Darnold's chances of getting the bag in the offseason?
I'd put it at about 2% as it stands right now. I honestly think, Ray, he's either going to be the backup of Minnesota or he's going to go back to San Francisco and be the backup there, because I don't see it with Darnold. It was a hot start. Good for him, but it's over. And we talked about this feels like 6 weeks ago, how Darnold was trending the wrong direction and was playing really poorly in second halves. And it shows. It's one of those things where you have to look at QBs in the first 15 plays and then the rest of the game, because Darnold in the first scripted plays is really good. And after that, he starts to stink it up. And when the moment gets too big, pisses down his leg, looking like Cooper Flagg out there at the end of the game.
Oh, Cooper Flagg with the 2 turnovers. Kentucky beating Duke for the first time in 9 years.
Had to do that one for Scott Connor.
Get that college football in there, Jay. Hey, I'm going to keep letting you cook like Glorilla. Cook, baby. And Russell Wilson is cooking in Pittsburgh. How we feeling about Russ, baby? Do the Steelers have their short/long-term quarterback of the future in Russell Wilson, Mr. Unlimited?
I will say I would not be shocked if the Steelers brought him back. I really wouldn't. I think that the way he's playing right now, Mike Tomlin's probably pretty happy with this. And honestly, Mike Tomlin looks like an effing genius. From the very beginning, this guy said Russell Wilson is in pole position, and I don't think he ever wavered from that stance. He knew that Russ was a quarterback they needed to win, and Russ is playing like it and delivering on his end as well. I don't know how to value him. It's very difficult for me because I like Russ. And we've talked about how if they have a quarterback that can run the play action, hand the ball off, read defenses more importantly, they can be a good football team because they have a great defense, and Russ is delivering on just about all fronts. I don't think he's top 12, but if you want him as a high-end QB2,
said he traded Dak for Russ. He said he traded Dak for Russ.
I don't hate it. I don't. Okay. I think Dak's got a higher ceiling just because of volume, but if he's going to be throwing touchdowns to Mike Williams, why not?
Big Mike got in his own. We got 3 more. Say the best 3 for last. I'm going to ask you again. Do you want to walk it back? Do you want to walk it back? We saw the Achilles. They held up. Christian was on the field. Didn't run for a lot of yards, but he's on the field healthy. You want to walk it back? You still don't want any part of that CMC down the stretch, JRich?
At a first, no. At a first price, I would say no.
Okay.
I don't want to trade a first for McCaffrey right now. I'll wait.
All right.
Did you see enough? I didn't see enough personally. He didn't run the ball well enough for me to say I'm in. He caught the ball, which he's great at.
Yeah. He made it through the game. Yeah, I don't know. All right, last 2. How we feeling, man? That Dolphins offense ain't just flying high like we thought it would. How we feeling about Reek, Waddle, Tua, Achane? Like, how we feeling about this situation right now?
I honestly probably would be trying to trade Tyreek right now if he had any value.
Probably too late.
Probably too late. Probably too late. I mean, Achane I'm fine with because the Dolphins should be a decent offense, but like, what is this team doing? You're 2-6.
Being
sure,
3
you
and
won
6.
the game. Cool. Credit. Well, now they're 3-6 because they won the game.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. Being 3 and 6.
They're going nowhere, man. They're going nowhere. There's no playoff hopes for this team. There's no way. They're behind the Bengals. How are you behind the Bengals in the playoff race right now?
And think about the offense looks bad, and it's with Tua. Think about just without it, it's just there's nothing.
Yeah,
and then he's trying to tackle. What are you doing, man? Putting his head down, getting kneed, and what are you doing, Tua?
He is a football player, Ray.
Good
Do you think
Lord.
Mike McDaniel gets fired? very impatient owner, and it's Jed York, right? Is the owner? He's
I
very
don't know.
impatient.
He
was supposed to be the savior.
Why is he
and-
getting fired? Why is he?
Because of as you said, how bad did this team look without Tua? Which is that's coaching, man. Like it is. Yeah, you don't have your starting quarterback, but how is your offense so tailored to this time? Like then it shows all you're good at is one thing.
And this is my
plays
thing.
that only one player can run.
And this is my thing with Deion Sanders. At least he has been a head coach. Has gone through the rigors of preparing a game plan.
That's true.
Putting practice together. We hire all these OCs and offensive quarterback coaches and wide receiver coaches and linebacker coaches to be a head coach, and you're telling me that Prime hasn't done enough or doesn't understand the rigors of coaching? Man,
that's true.
If y'all only knew the amount of time that collegiate coaches have to put in to prepare and dealing with kids and not men, attitudes and emotions and all of that, like if you can coach in college,
Stephen Ross,
he could be fine in the NFL. The final player that we're going to discuss before we get out of here, Jay, how we feeling right now about this kid? And this is the first time in his NFL career I've seen this young man smile. Bryce Young, big win in Germany. The stats are not gaudy, but there are throws that he makes where you're like, oh shit, man, if this dude can grow and put it together, we could have us a top 17 quarterback in Bryce Young. How we feeling about Bryce Young, the Carolina Panthers, and top 5 running back Chuba Hubbard? Talk about Bryce, baby.
Well, I think unfortunately for Bryce Young, he's got to be 22, 23. So I think his growing days are over for him. But he looks good, man. He looks better. It's unfortunate that we didn't get the Heisman Trophy winner out the gate, but it seems to be playing at that level now where you could say, yeah, this dude has won a Heisman Trophy. He can make some throws. He can obviously read defenses and play well. It's unfortunate kind of the way his career has gone so far, but I hope him and Canales can make it work because I do still like Canales. I think he can do a lot of good things. And with Chuba and Brooks and hopefully adding to the receiving room, they can actually have a decent team overall. It's really just figuring out those small things, but I think Bryce is on the right track. Hopefully for him, it's good to see him with some confidence again.
Daniel Perry said window to buy Bryce is closing. Who starts first? Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson. Who gets a starting not who gets on the field and starts a game. Who gets a starting opportunity first? Bryce Young or Anthony Richardson to lead a team?
I think it's easily Bryce Young. Bryce Young. It's not even close.
And would you trade Bryce or JRich right now, no plus included, straight up for Bo Nix?
Yeah, I'd trade both of them straight up for Bo Nix, I think. I think you have to. I like Bryce. I mean, I'm actually not opposed to trading for Bryce. I would honestly trade for Bryce before I would trade for JRich, and I mean that wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
If you could trade your JRich, I mean, it'd be pretty dumb to do that. But if you could trade your JRich straight up for Bryce, I would probably do it because it just doesn't seem very good for JRich right now. It's not the route I would go, but I would trade for Bryce before I would trade for JRich right now for sure.
Yeah. All right. I see people. Looks like he's got some resemblance of confidence. Bryce went to the worst situation. I was thinking that sound, Ray. Canales is for real. Window to Bryce is closing. And then Ike says, looks like Bryce was having the time of his life. And it was good to see that. It was a good win versus a bad team, but they got the dub and Bryce has played well the past 2 weeks.
You can tell how low he was and how bad it got for him because you don't have these reactions to these games unless those lows were really, really low. And I think that's probably the best part about Bryce winning games.
Yeah.
Is that you see like the true relief of someone who is going through a lot. And for a dude who played at Alabama and won like so many games, clearly the losses were really adding up on him mentally, and it's good to see him get some wins.
All right. There it is, Jay. We appreciate everybody tapping in for this one. A little longer than expected, but thank y'all for pulling up on this Wednesday. Again, make sure you check out Dynasty Theory's QB tiers on the channel, and I'm going to put some content up today. I don't know what I want to do. I want to see some mocks. I kind of want to do some rookie stuff. I don't know what I'm going to talk about today, but I'm going to put something out later tonight for the people. And make sure y'all wake y'all asses up on Friday with JRich and I as we look through some of the top storylines heading into this weekend's games and action. And Jay, we're already here, week 11. Already week 11 of the
Crazy.
NFL season. So enjoy it, folks. It's going to be a long, long, long off season as we progress after football is over. Let's hit the super chats. and then close this bad boy out. We got one right here from C24 MVP. Appreciate you, C24 MVP. JRich and Bijan Robinson, or London, Cousins, and Mixon. This is PPR. Anthony Richardson and Bijan. Is that it? JRich and Bijan, or London, Cousins, and Mixon?
Just very easily London, Cousins, Mixon. Very easy.
I don't know the settings and don't quite care. London, Cousins, and Mixon. Thank you. Jordan Baker hit us with one. Win now. What RBs are worth an early 25 first? What RBs right now do you think you could realistically get for a, let's say, top 5 pick in 2025? Can I get, I'm starting high. Can I get Saquon for first, JRich? You think that's
there's
doable?
No way.
You don't think so?
No. I don't think
Derrick
Saquon
Henry.
owner's probably in Saquon owner's
Can
probably
I
in
get
first
Derrick
place.
Henry?
Yeah, you can probably get, maybe, if depending on the owner, maybe. The price is definitely fair.
Yeah,
I'd be
I would
looking
pay
to
first.
I'd be looking to JT, and the name I'm gonna throw it to you, Ray, is James Cook. Would you trade a high first for James Cook?
Probably not. That does not sound, that didn't tickle my fancy right off the rip, but maybe.
Because would you do it for Achane? Achane's tough. I feel like you probably should.
Not a high first, no. I want Barkley, Henry.
Robinson?
No one's trading
Now he's
Bijan
playing
for
pretty
it.
well.
No one's
Probably not.
paying trading Bijan for an ISO 1.
And Gibbs, the same thing. No one's trading Gibbs.
No
for
one's
one.
trading Gibbs for an ISO 1.
What about Kyron?
He better stop
Those are kind of your
fumbling,
names at the
man.
top.
He's fumbling every day. He needs to stop fumbling the damn ball. He's fumbling every game. Stop fumbling the ball, Kyron.
And then not Kenneth Walker, obviously.
No, not K9. Christian
Yeah.
McCaffrey. I'm going to just ask again.
Hell no.
Brees Hall.
Hell no.
Brees Hall.
I don't want to. I feel like even the Brees Hall owner wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, I don't think you could get that done. I think Henry is probably your, like, of the high end win now run. No, all right, last one. Would you trade for Joe Mixon and say you get a little something back? You get Mixon and a third back for a first. Would you do that?
If you have no other options, but I wouldn't want to. I'd rather trade for James. So the players I look at and I see maybe there's an option, like James Cook is one because he was hurt a little bit. So maybe like that owner isn't very,
Am I
very
bugging?
good.
Should it be Cook? Am I tripping by saying no on Cook? Like,
I think Cook is interesting. It's interesting because you do have some lifespan. He's clearly the RB1 there. He's got, I believe, 2 more years on the contract, right? Jonathan Taylor's tough, but I think maybe the owner could be swayed. I know you don't want him, but he's been really good. He has been really good this year. Saquon's too good, so the owner who has Saquon's probably in a high position. Same with Derrick Henry. Achane's been hurt, so maybe the Achane owner could move off him a little bit. But that's really the only ones I see. And same with even Kyron Williams. You have Kyron Williams, you're probably fine in fantasy. Kamara,
here's one.
not
I'm gonna
Kamara.
put you to the test. Early
What?
first for Chuba Hubbard in a second.
I don't really want to do that. No, it's probably fair. It's probably fair. I don't want to though.
Why?
Because is Chuba gonna get you that value
Yes.
back, or are you just simply
Don't care
simply
about the
doing it?
He's getting 20 something opportunities. He's a top 5 RB in the league right now. If we're being objective right now, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, top 4, locked and loaded in my opinion. Playing ball right now, top 4 backs. Who else is playing better than Chuba Hubbard, running back wise? What other run?
I would say Jonathan Taylor is playing better than Chuba Hubbard.
No, he's not. No way.
Why not? He runs for 100 yards a game.
What is Chuba doing every game?
Dude, this team is awful.
And catching the ball out of the backfield.
I still think JT's a better player. He's got more value. I'm just not going to do
Value
that.
is-
And you could
value is
argue if
irrelevant.
Kenneth Walker's healthy and the Seahawks are even decent, he's probably better than Chuba Hubbard as well because he catches passes, he runs the ball very effectively, he scores a lot of touchdowns. The problem is you're banking on Carolina. Like, if you look at Carolina's schedule right now, you're going to say, okay, they have a bunch of awful games, so he could get scripted out a little bit.
Dude's
So it's just-
averaging 20, like damn near 20 touches a game, man. And he's converting and he's scoring touchdowns. 3rd in yards, 5th in carries, 8th in TDs, and he's caught 30 passes on 35 targets. How is this not good?
He
How is
is.
this not
I'm not
great?
saying he's not good, but I don't know if you want to trade an early first for Chuba Hubbard. You know, he's still ranked below Jonathan Brooks on KTC right now.
Yeah.
So as much as you like him, I agree with you, but it's just you have to have some semblance of value a little bit because he's probably not going to get into that top 12. That's the only problem with him. And I think the name that we didn't even bring up that actually could be a potential league winner is Dave Montgomery. Everyone wants Jahmyr Gibbs, but Montgomery at times is just as good, if not better, in certain game scripts. So he's a guy that you probably should be trading for because no one really puts respect on his name. And then the name that you love that I am a big fan of as well, but Green Bay sucks right now coming off the bye is Josh Jacobs. I love
Chuba
Josh
Hubbard's
Jacobs.
better. Chuba Hubbard is playing. I don't care what their collegiate profile was 32 years ago. He's playing better. He's playing top 5 ball right now at the running back position, and he's got all the he's got opportunity. They've committed to him.
Yeah. But
I'm not saying you got to trade it first for him. I saw people saying that you could get something back on top of that Chuba. I think
for sure.
What else
but
is there
this
to
week he
think
plays
about?
the Chiefs, then he plays Tampa, then he plays Philly. Okay, you got Dallas, Arizona, Tampa, Atlanta. So you have a tough stretch coming. Like it's going to be tougher for Chuba when you're going from playing Washington, Denver, New Orleans, the Giants. Like it's a tougher stretch. He's been very good. I'm not trying to discredit him at all. He deserves his money, but he does have a tough stretch coming. So
let's listen to this stretch. Let's listen to Taylor's stretch: New York, Detroit, New England, bye week, Buffalo, Tennessee.
Yeah, none of those teams are good. The only good team in there is Tennessee, and I think he can run on Tennessee. You said New England. You said Buffalo, who allow. They allow
New York, the Jets, the Lions, the Patriots,
the Jets, who are
the
bottom
Broncos.
5 in EPA per play. That Jets, those Jets, the New York Football Jets, who will probably be like what 3-12 by that game.
Why are we still
they
on
play.
here?
They play this week, right? This is a big game. Actually, I was seeing this for Indy. If Indy can win this game, it like increases their chances of making the playoffs by a lot. By like I think it was 17%. If they win, I don't think they're gonna win, but if they win. Big game.
Hey, man, it's 9:30. Let's get out. Hit the music. We got to go. What are we doing?
Come on, people.
What are we
Big
doing?
show.
Hit the thumbs up button.
Big
like
show.
the content, people. We're just making extra content.
This
We
is fun.
appreciate y'all being in the building. Wake up on Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Check out all the content we got on the channel. Much love, much appreciation. We love y'all so much. We out of this thing. Peace.